Decorative, illuminated coffered ceiling installation for any type of room in the house. Installation of an illuminated coffered ceiling. Using these step-by-step instructions, you can follow this idea, or this idea can help you create your own project. This video shows how to make an illuminated coffered ceiling for any type of room. In this video, the coffered ceiling is installed in one large room, kitchen with family room. The basic material used in this installation: 2 by 4 inches studs, primed MDF boards, 3 5/8 of an inch crown molding, 18 4-in-wall rated LED cable, RGB, red, green, blue, wire extension cable, 22 AWG, flexible RGB, multicolor, LED strip light 12 volts, super night LED strip lights, 16.4 feet 5 MSMD 300 LEDs. Any device to control the LED light strip, LED controller, LED driver. Any device to control the LED driver, switch, timer, etc. The procedure for installing a coffered ceiling. Draw a plan of the coffered ceiling for a given room. A recessed or pendant light will be installed in each segment of the coffered ceiling. Make a soffit around the perimeter of the room during construction or after installing drywall. Cables for recessed fixtures left at the estimated location of the fixtures. The soffit is larger than the ceiling beams in a coffered ceiling. Soffit width 9 inches. Soffit height 9.5 inch. Wrap the soffit around the perimeter of the room with MDF boards. Bottom MDF board 3/4 by 8.5 inches. Side MDF board 7 1/4 inch, too narrow, should be 9.5 inch. Decorative lowering of the board gap 1/4 inch. The side board extends 1/4 below the bottom board. This opening will be filled with the piece of MDF board about 2 inches wide. Select the center of ceiling beams of the coffered ceiling. Some LED cables left in the estimated center of coffered ceiling beams. The center of the coffered ceiling beam. The marked width of the structure to be built to support the ceiling beam, 5 1/2 inch. Width of the MDF board at the bottom of the beam. 1 1/2 by 2 inches wood support structure, made from 2 by 4 inches studs cut in half along the wide side of the stud. The wooden support should be attached in such a way that the markings on the ceiling, for the lower MDF board of the beam, remain on the outside of the wooden structure. Use appropriate nails or screws to attach the wooden beam structure to the ceiling joists that are located under the drywall. Ceiling joists under the drywall. If the beams for a coffered ceiling must be attached in places between the ceiling joists, transverse support blocks should be installed between the joists under the drywall to attach the beam structure to them. Transverse support blocks between joists. This can be done before installing the drywall, or the drywall must be open to install the transverse support block between the ceiling joists. Open the drywall to install the transverse support blocks. The structure for the coffered ceiling beams is now ready. Wrap the ceiling beam structure with MDF boards. Side MDF boards of the ceiling beam 5 1/2 inch. Some of the cables for the LED light strip are already between the ceiling joist structure. The bottom of the coffered beams should be 2 inches higher than the bottom of the perimeter soffit. Bottom of the beam 2 inches higher than bottom of the soffit. Ceiling beam structure wrapped with MDF boards. Install crown molding under the soffit around the perimeter of the room. Drill holes in the beams for the cable feeding each section of the coffered ceiling. The center of the 1/2 inch hole is 2 inches from the ceiling and 1 1/4 inch from the adjacent beamboard. Run a cable from the location where the LED strip controls will be installed, basement, garage, attic or closet, not clothes closet, to each section and insert it into the drilled holes. Large segments will require 2 or more cables. 1 or more cables are inserted to each segment, depending on the length of the installed LED strip. Cut holes for recessed lights in the center of the ceiling segment or at a selected location. Make sure all cables for recessed and pendant lights are in the right place. If missing cables need to be routed, they can be routed inside the beams. Install the bottom MDF board, 5 1/2 inch wide, between the side MDF boards of the beams. The side MDF boards of the beams should extend 1/4 inch below the bottom board. The bottom MDF boards of the beams are installed. Make a 4 by 4 inches square block from MDF board and install it at each corner of the coffered ceiling segment. Square blocks installed in each ceiling segment. Before installing the blocks, install the missing MDF board elements in the perimeter soffit around the room. Fill and spackle all holes and cracks in the ceiling segments. Sand and prime the entire ceiling. Hide all the cables for recessed lighting in the ceiling and paint the ceiling. Install crown molding inside each coffered ceiling segment. On each coffered ceiling segment board, mark the same distance from the bottom of the segment board to the bottom of the crown molding. Cut the length of the crown molding at the appropriate angle and use staples to attach the bottom of the crown molding to the segment board along the marks. Attach the top of the crown molding to the corner blocks. The cable for connecting the LED strip should be left outside the crown molding. Now the space between the ceiling and the top of the crown molding is 3/4 inch. Crown molding installed. Install recessed lights. Spackle all holes in the crown molding and paint the entire coffered ceiling beams. A flexible LED strip light will be installed. Super Night LED strip lights package contains flexible LED strip lights, 16.4 feet 5 MSMD 300 LEDs, adhesion promoter, mounting clips for LED strip, instruction, LED wire for RGB LED strips, 22 AWG. If the LED strip power cables are too short, they can be extended or replaced with longer ones. If the LED light strip is too long, it should be cut in the cutting places marked on the strip. Cutting points are located every 3 inches of the light strip. LED strip wires. Common, plus, black. Blue LEDs, minus blue. Red LEDs, minus red. Green LEDs, minus green. A coffered ceiling segment in which the LED strip will be installed. LED cable installed from the LED strip control location to power this coffered ceiling segment. The connection of the LED strip with the LED power cable will be made in 2 opposite corners of the segment. Install the LED strip light in the crown molding. Clean the back top of the crown molding from dust. Using the adhesion promoter, wipe the top back of the crown molding where the LED strip will be installed. Unroll the strip light and partially remove the protective film from the light strip adhesive tape. By removing the protective film from the back of the LED strip, adhere the LED strip to the back of the crown molding by pressing light strip against the back of the crown molding. Cut the LED strip at the cutting point closest to the end of the crown molding. Cutting points on the LED strip light. The top of the back of the crown molding that the light strip will attach to. Rear view of the crown molding where the light strip is installed. When installing the LED strip, make sure that the same side of the strip, with B, or plus 12 volts, is mounted in the upper position in all segments to obtain the same even light distribution. Install the next light strip into the next crown molding in the same way. LED lighting strips mounted towards the first corner of the segment. Install the third and fourth light strips in a similar way on the opposite corner of the coffered ceiling section. LED strip installed so that the connection point for the light strips to the power supply is in opposite corners of the ceiling segment. Now you need to run the cable between the connection points to power all the LED strips. Use a piece of wire as a fishing snake to fish the cable under the corner block and route the cable behind the crown molding. Connect the wires in the segment corner that has two light strips and a power cable extension. To connect the wires, move the wires to one side of the corner. Cut off the light strip connector and strip the ends of both light strips power wires about 1/2 inch. Strip the power extension cable sheath for about 6 inches and strip the ends of the wires for about 1/2 inch. This is not a typical LED cable, it is a speaker cable which, if properly sized, can also be used to power the LED strip. The colors of most of the wires correspond to the colors of the wires on the light strip wires, except for one which is yellow in this cable, which will replace the green wire and will be connected to the green wire of the light strips. Wire nuts. Low voltage crimp connectors. Using wire nuts, connect the wires as follows. All blue wires together. All red wires together. Green wires from LED strips with yellow wire from the cable. all black wires together. Connected wires. Connect the wires at the corner of the segment where the two light strip wires, the power extension cable, and the LED cable from the LED strips control center are located. LED cable wires from the LED strips control location. Common, plus, white. Blue LEDs, minus, blue. Red LEDs, minus, red. Green LEDs, minus, green. To keep all the cables and wires in one place, extend the short wire of one LED strip and move it to a common place. Using crimp connectors, splice the extension wires to the LED strip wires, matching the wire colors. Connected wires. Insert the spliced wires behind the crown molding. Trim the cables, remove the cable sheath approximately 5 inches, strip the ends of all wires approximately 1/2 inch, and connect the wires as follows. White wire from the LED cable from the LED strip's control panel to all black wires. Yellow wire from the extension cable to all green wires. All red wires together. All blue wires together. Connected wires. Check that the light strip is properly connected by turning it on. Insert the connected wires behind the crown molding. Retest the light strip for proper operation. Install the LED strip light in a similar way in all other segments of the coffered ceiling. RGB LED strip lighting controller with RF, radio frequency, remote control. LED driver. Install the LED strip light controller. Secure the LED cable to the surface near the controller connection terminals. Strip the cable sheath about 3 inches. Strip the ends of the wires about 1/4 inch. Connect the wires to the LED controller connection terminals as follows. Blue wire from the LED cable to the controller output terminal, B. Green wire from the LED cable to the controller output terminal, G. Red wire from the LED cable to the controller output terminal, R. White wire from the LED cable to the controller output terminal, V+. Install the LED driver. Connect the red, positive, plus, or wire of other color from the extended cable from the LED driver to the V+ input terminal of the controller. Connect the black, negative, minus, or wire of other color from the extended cable from the LED driver to the V- input terminal of the controller. Connection diagram for the RGB strip, controller and LED driver. Connection sketch for the RGB strip, controller and LED driver. Connection between the LED light strip and the LED cable from the wall. LED controller connection. Cable from the LED driver. Red wire, positive, plus, from the LED driver connected to the V+ input LED controller connection terminal. Black wire, negative, minus, from the LED driver connected to the V- input LED controller connection terminal. For a larger power LED driver, the cable can be paralleled and connected to the LED controller, maintaining the correct polarity of the connection. Appropriately sized LED driver installed. The connection of the low-voltage LED driver can be extended with a cable of appropriate diameter. Cable wires can be connected in parallel. Use any control device to control the lighting manually or via an app on your phone. Using the LED controller with an RF remote control, you can set many scene modes, multiple colors, dimming, fading, jumping, etc. LED light strip control location. LED controllers for the presented coffered ceiling. LED drivers for the presented coffered ceiling. LED drivers controllers. Set the color for each group or all segments of the coffered ceiling and the time it will be turned on or off. If this video is helpful, please subscribe. Comments are welcome.